Hey guys, long time no see. This video is gonna be my first in real life vlog. Wow! If for some reason you haven't read the title, I went to Gamescom 2025 in Cologne, Germany recently. It was my first time there, so I didn't really know what to expect. All I knew was that it was going to be massive and crowds inevitable. So come with me on a little tour through the convention, along with a few little side quests and encounters I had there. So, the convention itself was open to visitors from Thursday to Sunday. I chose to go on a Friday thinking it wouldn't be too crowded, but alas, I was wrong. I didn't manage to get a hotel in Cologne itself since they were way too expensive at the time due to the convention, which was my fault for not booking earlier. But anyway, so I had to take a train to get there, and let me tell you, it was packed. Like sardine packed. I timed it so that I would get there as soon as doors opened at 10 a.m., so that probably played a factor. Turning back the clock a little here, the night before I actually scrolled through all the games that were going to be featured at Gamescom, since I had a feeling I wouldn't be able to see everything. In terms of games, I determined that I wanted to see Resident Evil 9, Silent Hill F, as well as visit the Love and Deepspace booth, since I found out you get a pretty nice goodie bag. I also read that there might be something for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline 2, and wanted to give an indie game called Glass House a try. Lastly, I wanted to get something from the Artist Alley, so that was the list of quests I had in my mind. Fast forward to the present, and I get off the train and start walking to the convention hall. I had to walk quite a bit to even get to the entrance, but it wasn't too bad. There were a lot of people though, and I mean a lot. Whisked away in the crowd, I finally entered Gamescom 2025. My spirits high, my feet dancing with excitement. So Gamescom consisted of 2 floors and was separated into different halls that correspond to different categories. For example, there were the entertainment halls 6, 7, 8, and 9, which, and this was from my understanding, where the more established game companies were. In my head, I labeled it the AAA halls, since Capcom and Nintendo were in Hall 9 and Konami in Hall 7. Is Konami even AAA anymore? I don't know. Basically, the companies that aren't indie. So indie stuff was in Hall 10, which split into even smaller parts, like 10 point something. Like the retro and family area was also in Hall 10 something. My memory is a blur at this point. Then another important hall was 5, which had the Artist Alley, but also the merchandise and TCG board game section. There was also a cosplay village, an event arena, and a signing area, but those weren't really important to me, so I kind of pushed these areas to the back of my head for the sake of staying focused on my predetermined quests. Anyway, when I entered, it was through Hall 10, specifically the retro and family area. Now, I could have relaxed and enjoyed the cool atmosphere here, maybe play some retro games, but no! In my head, I thought, I'm gonna rush to the AAA area right away before a crowd forms and I'd have to wait forever. So I brisk walked ahead, turning through halls and vigorously looking to check the signs to see if I was heading the right way. But then I saw something interesting that made me stop in my tracks. It was a little gothic looking van, almost vampire-esque. Near the van was the sign Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines 2. It wasn't a game booth, but a photo booth, so I waited in a really short line for my turn. Staff there was handing out fake vampire teeth, so naturally I took one. And here's the picture of the photo booth picture. You could choose what frame design you wanted. They were based on the different clans, and to be honest, I only choose Bruja because of the color scheme. After that, I talked a little to one of the developers. She mentioned the game is coming out this year in October, and I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, once that distraction was done and over with, I headed back to my main quest, to Hall 9, to find the Capcom booth. Strolling through Hall 9, I saw some Pokemon booths. There was also a cute Pikachu walking around, but I couldn't let that distract me, so we exchanged a brief hello before parting ways. And then, there it was, the Capcom logo in the distance. They had 3 games on display here, Resident Evil 9, the new Onimusha, and another unreleased game called Pragmata. So remember how I said I sort of rushed here to avoid long queues? Well, that didn't work at all. There were already a lot of people in line for all 3 games. I saw a sign that said the wait time will be, wait for it, 3 freaking hours. 3 hours in line before I even got to see what's here in Gamescom. And at the time, I didn't know that they were handing out goodie bags for Resident Evil 9 in particular. Not sure about the other two. I didn't think it was worth it, so I resigned myself to simply waiting for RE9 to come out. In my opinion, Capcom has always been consistently releasing good games with a few hiccups here and there, and so I could be patient. And so, dragging my feet away from the Capcom booth, I decided to go for something that I knew would cheer me up. Something that had a guaranteed reward. Even though I hadn't played the game in a while and had frantically downloaded a million updates the night before just to claim the goodie bag, that's right, time to go to the Love in Deepspace. I hadn't played it for several months, and when I logged in again, I was bombarded with messages from the love interests asking where I am and how they're all sad. So I'm playing it again, I guess. Anyway, the reason why I opened the game again was because to claim the goodie bag at the booth, you needed to show your account and be at least level 50. You also needed to complete a short questionnaire and show your Gamescom ticket. Wow. I guess they really wanted to make sure people couldn't easily claim more than one bag, huh? Anyway, I went to the booth and was like, hey, where's the queue? Like, how do I enter? Eventually, a guard points towards the outside and, hey, what do you know? There's the line. So I followed the end of the line looking for the start, and it's looking long and windy. On the positive side, the queue was outside the building where a bunch of food stalls were, so my cute partner went to get us some fries we could eat while we waited in line. Thanks, partner. So while we ate our fries, I started eavesdropping on conversations around me. People were saying the goodie bags are random and you don't get to choose which one you wanted, which kind of sucks. You'd think that for a game where they want you to get attached to one of the love interests, they would let you get the guy you want. Also, from the conversations around me, it sounded like a lot of people wanted Silas, Caleb, or Xavier, which meant that if I got one of those love interests, it would be easier to exchange it for Raphael. So, after almost 2 hours in line, I finally got in, showed the staff my account, and once I got the okay, I eagerly waited by the goodie bag distribution counter. The guy looked at my account profile a couple times, and then he handed me a Caleb bag. Caleb, the childhood friend, who's also a cyborg pilot or something. I don't know. I haven't really been following the story much, but I knew I didn't really like him. So, moving on. There were Raphael and Silas cosplayers in this sort of photo taking area. I took a pic with Raphael and then hurried on to the exit. There, I saw a bunch of girls holding up their goodie bags, looking kind of sad. I noticed a girl holding a Raphael one and approached her. I pointed to her bag and then to my Caleb bag and offered to trade. And let me tell you, the look on her face, her yes sounded so intense and she looked so happy to get Caleb. So we exchanged bags and went on our merry ways. So here's my Raphael bag. It's very huge and got me a couple of smirks and stares from people when I walked back to the hotel later, and then again when heading home from Cologne. If you're wondering what was inside it, there was this ribbon banner thing, which I've already hung up on my wall, as you can see here, and also a fan with a love interest. And lastly, these photo cards, which I thought were pretty nice quality. Like, even though I like Raphael most, I'm not super into the game, so it's nice that all the love interests are included in the photo cards. Well, that was quite a journey, eh? At this point, I was feeling pretty satisfied. Even though I had failed my Capcom quest, at least I wasn't going home empty-handed, but there was still time. Time to disengage from these big companies and corporations. Yes, now I was in the mood for something more quaint, something more artsy and indie. There were so many games here. I truly regret not being able to play many of them. Some booths were bigger and some were noticeably smaller. I think the small ones were probably student games. Also, there was a cute little stamp rally in the indie area where if you played a game, you get a stamp. And if you get 6 stamps, you can claim a free goodie bag. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to play 6, so I didn't get the bag. Plus, not all games gave you the stamp. That part was a little confusing and it doesn't really feel good if you go to a dev and ask, oh, do you guys give stamp? And if they say no, you just leave. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, remember how at the beginning of the video I said there was one indie game I wanted to check out? That's this here, Glass House. It looked like it was inspired by Disco Elysium, which I really enjoyed. but with a political twist. I played it a little, beat up a dude in the game, of course, talked to a dev. They said they release the demo I played on Steam sometime this year. Once they do, I definitely give it another go without all this time pressure. Oh yes, I forgot to mention, at this point I was under time pressure. On Friday, Gamescom only ran until 8 p.m. and it was somewhere around 5. But that was another thing off the quest list I could check off. Woohoo! Anyway, I played a couple more games in the indie area before heading off to a different hall. And let me tell you, navigating between the halls is not always as easy as you'd think. There's just so many people everywhere, and you can't help but feel engulfed in this all-encompassing fog and the constant background chatter. It's like the white noise of a radio. Before going to Gamescom, I wasn't sure if Silent Hill F even had a booth, but walking through Hall 7, I first saw a section for the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I also saw that they were giving away free t-shirts, but alas, just like the Capcom lines, this one was also long. Plus, I had already played the original MGS3 a long time ago on PlayStation 2. Very fun game, by the way. So I continued on my way till I saw the sign that said, "You in Silent Hill, son." Well, they didn't actually say that, but I saw a Torii gate for a cute photo op and the line to try the game. Standing in front of it, I pondered my choices. If I stayed in line here to try the game and get a pretty nice goodie bag with a cute little omamori, I wouldn't have time for anything else. This was gonna be a commitment. I'd miss out on everything else there was to see here at Gamescom. So I rationalized. I had already seen a bunch of gameplay trailers of Silent Hill F, and though the goodie bag was cool, what if the game comes out in late September this year, by the way, and it isn't good? Then I'd be stuck with these little trinkets from a game I didn't even like. Plus, Konami as a company has committed so many past grievances towards their IPs, not only Silent Hill, but also Castlevania, which you can guess holds a special place in my heart. With these rationalizations in mind, I decided against standing in line and instead went on a different quest. A last-ditch grab for all things free. Long story short, I only had about an hour plus left before Gamescom closed for the day. So I went around to non-game specific booths and corners, getting as many freebies as I could. First on the list was the Got to Be booth, which in exchange for posting a story with their accounts tagged, they give you a bag with your hair color dye of choice, some stickers, and an additional random product. I got some kind of stick thing that keeps your hair neat and in place. Then I saw a lady holding a sign that if you wishlist a game called God Save Birmingham, which is a survival zombie game set in Old England, you get to claim a, drumroll please, a cup of instant noodles. Hell yeah. Zooming along, I was feeling a little peckish and wanted something sweet to eat. Spotting a big spin the wheel type thing for Duplo chocolate, I quickly got in line. While waiting, I saw one of the people in front of me win the rarest thing on the wheel. At first, I thought it was a whole big box of these chocolates, but when the employee pulled out the prize, I was shocked. It was indeed a box, but not one containing chocolate. Nay, in fact, it was empty. An empty box. What for, you might be asking? You see, it could be used as a chair. I laughed. The guy's friends laughed. We all had a good laugh. But secretly, at the back of my mind, I thought, damn, that would be useful in those long AAA game lines. Then came my turn. And with my fingers crossed, I hope I would get chocolate. I didn't want the box chair or an empty tote bag, which was definitely another possible prize, by the way. And chocolate I received. I felt lucky. Sadly, not lucky enough to pull out a golden keyboard piece that would have won me a mechanical keyboard. I don't remember the brand that held that little chance game, but it was cool. Not feeling proper peckish, at one point I went to get something to eat. And since everything was packed, I had to do something super uncomfortable and scary. Sitting at a table next to strangers. Here, I saw many Expedition 33 cosplayers wearing what I assumed to be a special outfit that looked like the embodiment of everything stereotypically French. One of them was giving out stickers, and in her words, I gave off gremlin vibes, and so she bestowed upon me this sticker here. Thank you, random cosplayer. And I think that was the extent of my rush for freebies. Now I could relax and scurry on home. But hang on, Why does it feel like I'm forgetting something? Oh my, there was something else on my quest list I wanted to do, wasn't there? Ah, yes. I forgot to go to the artist alley slash merchandise area. Merchandise area wasn't too bad in terms of crowds. I took a look at what was there. A bunch of body pillows, some cosplay outfits, cute shirts. Though I did overhear someone lament about how a lot of the designs were AI generated. Yeah, nothing really interesting in this merchandise area. Let's go support some artists instead. Now, I don't know if the area designated to the artist alley was incredibly small and narrow, or if many people wanted to support some struggling artists, but this place was packed. Like, I can hardly move kind of packed. It was incredibly difficult to navigate around, and stopping to casually peek at the booths was kind of a challenge when a steady flow of people were constantly pushing against you. Luckily, not long after entering the artist alley, I spotted an artwork that immediately drew my attention. And not wanting to go through that crowd again, I committed to the choice and purchase, which I now hang on my living room wall. Yes, I had become a big Dark Souls fangirl, spending 45 euros on this beautiful piece of Artorias and Sif. And here's the name of the artist who painted it. Thank you. Ah, what a whirlwind ride Gamescom 2025 was. I had completed some of the quests I had set out to accomplish, yet some I had failed. But now with more experience, next time I would come more prepared. Next year I would book the hotel much earlier, go for 2 days or 1.5 days for maximum take your time enjoyment, bring a compact portable chair for those long queues. Check the internet, someone will post what freebies you can get, making it easier to decide what's worth going to or lining up for. And lastly, I would bring some sandwiches or snacks. And with that, I hope you enjoyed going through my silly little blog with me. If you found my video out of all the sea of videos out there on the internet, maybe it was fate. Maybe you're meant to subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, thanks for watching and for your support. Have you been to Gamescom, or what are some conventions you guys go to? Share it in the comments with me. For now, I bid thee farewell. Till next time.